welcome to the NFT Jungle. I am Emma, aka Nifty Meta Girl, and today I have MetaJungle team member
Emma Fast. My name is also Emma. Yeah, pretty funny, but aka Emo Farmer on Twitter.
And glad to have you guys with us today. This is going to be an episode that we are going to be providing some content for you. It's kind of a follow-up from the last episode where we're going to delve in a little bit deeper.
Yeah, we're going to go shopping.
That is right. We talked a lot about our wallet in the last episode and some projects that we are excited to be involved in, and then some other projects that we are interested in purchasing. And, you know, that's an opportunity to start looking into different traits. And we talked a lot in the last episode about why we pick certain traits and things we look for. So we thought that we would show you a little bit more about how to do that.
Yep. Sounds good. And I'll kind of be learning along with you guys because a lot of this is new to me too. So this will be good.
So we're going to help Emma add it to her wallet or learn to explore ways in which she can make wise decisions, educated decisions when purchasing into a generative art project. And so we know that with these projects, oftentimes there may be 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 pieces, and they all have different rarity or different traits that make them up. So when you're just looking at the floor price or kind of figuring out how to go about that, it might be kind of confusing. So we're going to look at some different tools. And you have a couple projects picked out that we're going to look at today, correct?
Yeah. So a few of the projects that I have loved pretty much since they released, well, Women and Weapons released before I was in the space, but Women and Weapons is one of them. I love the art. I love the artist, Sarah. She's so kind and supportive of other artists. And so I just really love her project, the Women and Weapons project. So I'm hoping to look at those today. I know the floor is a little high today. So we'll just kind of see what happens. If I find one that I just fall in love with, we'll have to see. So that I think that's the first one that we're going to look at. And then a couple of the other ones were the Flower Girls and Rebel Society. So
very good.
Yeah.
Very good. And so, you know, the most common place to shop for them is going to be on Opensea.
Right.
And so we can start off with Women and Weapons. And this is with Women and Weapons already being a project that has been verified. We can see that this is the right collection by the blue check mark. So coming into looking on Opensea, that's always a good thing to look for, especially if you're not using a link from their Discord or from their Twitter to put into Opensea. If you're actually searching the name of the collection, looking for the verification. If it's a newer project and they haven't reached that point yet, look at the number of items that have been minted, a couple of those little details, and make sure that the information for the collection looks relevant. And you can, if you're in doubt, you can always click on the link to the Twitter and make sure it actually goes to the real page.
Right.
So there's just some of those little nuances when you're purchasing or looking on OpenSea to make sure, because there can be lots of fake
ones. Yeah, I've noticed that. It's kind of crazy. But usually there's only like less than 100 like in those. Right. I've noticed. So that's kind of a true telling sign as to whether it's the real one or not. So
yeah, your items available, your owners, all of this information will be much lower than what should be expected for the project. And always a good reminder that if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. So.
Yeah, for sure.
And also you want to make sure that it's in ETH instead of WETH. I noticed one the other day that I was kind of like, this was weird, and it was a whole collection in WETH, and they had done a knockoff. So
nice.
But for those that have shopped on OpenSea, we're going to we'll look at Women and Weapons here to kind of see what's available on the price and explore kind of how you can look at that, look at those different options through OpenSea. But then we're also going to go over to Rarity tools and look a little bit more in detail. So with a project that has already minted, they will oftentimes also be available on Rarity tools. So that gives us an opportunity to kind of delve in a little bit deeper. So we can start off here by looking at OpenSea, and like you mentioned today, all the women projects are kind of going crazy. Today is Thursday, January 13th.
Yeah.
Definitely one for the calendar for all women-led projects and women-centric projects. I believe we can look over here at activity. That's another useful tool that we can see here when we're making a decision. So you can see from the beginning of the project this is the highest it has been.
Wow.
So it looks like their average price is 0.61.
Okay.
And then their volume, and that kind of tells us some information. And then you can always look here and kind of get an idea for the price that people are purchasing them at, and also how quickly it's happening.
Okay. Wow, that is super exciting that this is the highest they've been.
Isn't it?
Yeah, super exciting.
This is definitely a project that has been so authentic from the beginning and has a lot of support out there. So it's always fun to see good people succeeding.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we can go back over here to items, and this is going to show us the items that are available. Now, if they have this little pink diamond by them, that's actually in wreath. So these are ones that you can't actually just go in and purchase, but have an offer against them.
Gotcha.
So if you're wanting to make a purchase now, going over here and going to buy now is a great way to find what's readily available at the floor price.
Nice.
So we can see that we've got some different unique traits here happening, and they go ahead, and here on Opensea you can also see all of the traits here on the side. So you can click if there's something in particular that you are looking for, you can do that here. They don't really give you a way to search Rarity, but we can look at different traits and see the floor price of that.
Cool.
So I think you have some options picked out. Is that right?
Yeah, I had a couple different weapons that I like.
Okay.
And I definitely wanted one with tattoos, I think.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
So the weapons that caught my eye were like right there, the brass knuckles with the daggers on them.
Okay.
Pictured right there in the middle.
Yep.
Right here.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Yep. So they have like the dagger pointing out of the middle of them. So I just thought that was, but I like the regular brass knuckles too, and especially like the pink colored ones. Those are my favorite.
As you learn about a project, there's different traits along the way that you kind of learn might be different or special. And I know that I saw where Sarah, the artist, she had been asked recently, what is a unique trait or a unique detail? And she said that anything gold, because gold is her favorite color.
Yes.
And then she also mentioned that the pink weapons have special significance.
Right. Yes.
Because they tie into breast cancer awareness, and that's something that has a really personal meaning to her.
Yeah, and I love that.
And that's something fun that, as you know, Sarah is so good about communicating with the community that it gives you a way of getting to know those things a little bit better.
Totally. Yep.
This one's a cool one too with those. And so when you know you have a trait, one of the ways you can do it is we can come in here, and so her price right now is 0.58.
Okay.
And we know the blue button is illuminated there, so you can either make an offer, which would be in wreath, or you can purchase her right now for that price.
Okay, cool.
And then we can actually come down here to properties, and it's going to list all of the properties that she has. And so if we want to see the ones that have silver daggers to see how this compares to other ones that are available, we can actually click on that, and it's going to sort it now by this collection and all that have silver dagger brass knuckles.
Why is there one with throwing stars?
So we can look at this one and see. So this actually is a bundled item.
Oh, okay.
And that's a good question. I actually noticed that on another collection yesterday and looked into that a little bit more. And so this is something to be mindful of, because this can be...
So this is someone trying to sell both of these together?
Yes.
Okay.
And so the benefit that they tell you is that you will only pay gas
one time,
the one purchase, instead of making multiple purchases. However, this can also be something that I'm not saying about this particular listing, but it's also a way in which people will put a real one and they'll put a fake one.
Okay.
So it's
just
something.
Beware.
Yes, exactly. And so both of these are showing verified, but it is something that I just avoid them.
Yeah,
because,
sure.
Again, it's one of those things. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, because this one is to buy two of them for 0.6, or you can buy one for 0.6. That's one of those that just doesn't kind of add up.
Yeah. So. I've seen that before, so I'm glad that you explained that to me, because I was curious about that. So.
And that's a good question too, to be noticing and that one just doesn't fit
right
with everything else.
Yeah.
But we can see that the rest do have all different traits, except the thing that they have in common is
cool.
this one, isn't she?
Yeah. The overalls. I love it.
And I think that that's more unusual trait too, so we can actually check that out a little bit better.
Okay.
And so we can see her price is 0.75. So we can also see we didn't go through very many before the price is increasing.
And it shows the lowest price at the top, right? And as you scroll, it'll be...
And we actually sorted for that. When we go back to the other page, we'll look at that because you do have options, but the default is to start by the lowest price to the highest price.
Okay.
And so with this one, we can then check. So if we like, that particular, we like this weapon, but we like the overalls. So only 3% have overalls.
Okay.
So that is, and it's hard to tell by looking at Opensea how that really plays out unless we go over and look at the other feature. But, if we want to see what our options are for the overalls. So this is now sorting by overalls.
Gotcha. Ooh, she's cute in the middle with the pink brass knuckles.
She is.
I'm always drawn to, I do too. I'm always drawn to ones with bangs. I think just because I have bangs, like that's what my eye goes towards always. So
that's understandable. Yeah, I think that's a really striking.
Oh my gosh. Her with the pink hair.
And she has the gold weapons.
What? She's awesome.
She is awesome. And so she's at 0.8. So she's a little bit higher than the floor price. But then we could also factor in on rarity. So we can click on her and see some of the things that are unique about her. Because she has, her skin tone and her background. I chatted with somebody the other day that's something that they look for, actually. They really love that it doesn't have contrast.
Oh, interesting.
It matches. And that is kind of a unique detail.
Yeah.
But if we look at her properties here, we're going to look and see that the red flower crown, which the hair color is the red part.
Oh,
so they have black ones and blonde ones.
Gotcha.
So this will be the red one, and I think it's a beautiful detail.
Yes, absolutely.
And then we have the vintage orange background, and the body types play in a lot in this particular collection. And then we also have the gold dagger weapons.
Yeah, those are really cool.
And so we can search further by that. But a cool thing, too, is we could actually look at rarity tools and see how unique this one is against the rest of the collection.
Okay, cool.
So a lot of times if I find one like this, that's something I do is I'll go to rarity tools. Rarity tools is typically the most kind of respected, reliable option when it comes to deciding rarity.
Okay.
So within the collection, actually, they actually pay a price to be listed on Rarity Tools.
Oh, okay.
And they go through kind of an onboarding process where they actually are providing more detail than just the metadata. So there are times where there's traits in a collection that might be weighted differently. So it's not strictly on the statistical numbers of how many do, but there might be something that's significant to the project. So for instance, if with this particular project, if they were like, hey, pink weapons is really important to us, so we want them to be extra special, they could add that value and have an extra ranking. Other projects too, they may have different skin types, and if they don't want that to be something that's factoring in, so then they can change that, how that's actually balanced.
That's really cool. Yeah, I didn't realize that was a thing, so that's really cool.
So early on, if there are other rarity tools available that read straight metadata as a project is minting, and so those are available. However, there is a possibility if you're using that, that your actual, what's considered official ranking could change by the time it makes it to rarity tools.
Okay.
And typically, that's going off the metadata that's available. Typically, it's going to be pretty close. But if that's something really important to you, that's something to consider for sure.
Okay.
But here we're going to go ahead and go to the collections. And this site offers all kinds of crazy information. World of Women is number 2 on sales volume. That's pretty crazy, right under Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Wow.
Crazy, crazy.
It's amazing.
But we're going to go to Women and Weapons. And it will be right here. And it's number 32, which is pretty cool.
That is. That's awesome.
And now as this brings this up, this is going to be obviously our loading page, and it's going to have all of these options over to the side here. And since we know the number that we want to check, that gives us the option to do that right here.
Okay.
And so we can know that that was number 587 from our search bar right here. So if we want to just check her out, then we can do that. And so she's rank number is 5764.
Okay.
So that's about halfway in the middle. So sometimes that can kind of help you with understanding, the cost and where you're at as far as what other ones in that vicinity would also be priced at.
Okay.
And so we can see right now, this is going to tell you the floor price by the actual trait.
That's cool. I love that.
And so you had a good eye because the floor price for her overalls is 0.73.
Nice.
And so then also for her golden daggers is 0.66. And then also for the body type is 0.5. But you can then see what the rare ones are and kind of how that balances out. But a cool thing too is like, I wonder where this balances out. We can go ahead and pick just the overalls and click, and it's going to let us sort by that. And so then we can scroll down here and we will have those that all have overalls.
Wow. Okay. And so the rarest are at the top.
Yes.
Okay.
So right now we have it sorted by that, but we don't necessarily want to buy the most rare one. So right now they're sorted by rarity. That's the default with this program.
Okay.
We maybe want to start off with what our most cost-effective one is, right?
Yeah.
So you have the option to do low to high, high to low, and then recently listed.
Okay.
The recently listed can be interesting when a project is selling really quickly because and also if you're not looking, if you're not specific on picking the floor price, if you're wanting to maybe find one that is a little bit higher on the rarity and not at the floor price, it kind of lets you, it's a good sorting feature.
Okay.
To see kind of what's happening as they're coming on board. So we're going to pick low to high. And so we can also see now that there's some that are lower than the one that we were looking at. In fact, she is going to be, where is she? Our overalls. Her number was 587, so she's going to be a little bit further down there. But we can see that even this one, if it's something that you're wanting to do on rarity, this is 914, and she is at a 0.82.
Gotcha.
So it gives you some different options here where you're able to see that. And we are continuing down. This one we can see is 0.2, but this kind of gives you a range. So for the overalls, that's going to be 69 ETH is the highest one listed.
Wow, so she's ranked number 3 on rarity.
Yes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yes, absolutely. Cool. She's pretty too.
So she's 69 ETH.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Wow.
Pretty nuts. Huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then also, so then this would be the floor of the overalls, which we had talked about was the 0.73, and she's at 6701.
Okay.
So that's her ranking. And so this one, if you're looking between and ranking is something that's important to you,
right.
That is, that would be considered, a pretty good value. And so then there's also, you can also check her out and see if there's different things about her. I think the bat is one that I don't really remember seeing very often.
Yeah.
So there's only 66 with the wooden bat.
Cool.
And so if you, and we can check her out. She, on Opensea is listed as 0.82.
Okay.
So sometimes you find ones where you're like, I like that one, and I wouldn't maybe have picked those traits out, and you end up making that purchase.
Right.
So, for instance, for me, this past weekend, that's kind of how I ended up making a purchase and finding the Sparky traits is because I was looking for pink weapons, and then I kind of figured, I was like, oh, wow, there's only 47 of these. And because the one I ended up buying, she had pink weapons. So you kind of like work your way through these traits.
Very cool. Yeah, this is a really cool tool to have.
So we can see that, that's something really rare. I actually had not really investigated on the baseball bats yet, but 66, that's not very many at all.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I haven't really seen the baseball bats very often, so it makes sense that it's more rare, I guess.
And that's a pretty pairing with the red glasses and the burgundy top, and that it's branded and everything. But we can also go over here and we can look a little bit. We'll clear these filters.
Okay.
And because I know we're kind of picking out one that you like a lot.
Yes.
And so we can come back and we can also shop by our lowest price. So this is going to take us to the floor price. And the floor price on here is showing that it's 0.48. We can keep in mind that there's going to be times where activity is fast enough that we may have to double check these items to make sure that they are actually still available.
Okay, because 0.48 is quite a bit lower than what it says on Opensea, right?
Sometimes the floor can drop because of activity.
Okay.
And sometimes this is just lagging behind.
Okay.
And so, so for instance, these two right now are showing that they're auctions, so they're not readily available to purchase.
Okay.
So we'll just ignore those. This one, from my recent investigation, I can tell you that, and we can also look here when we go ahead and look at our traits a little bit better, and we open these up. What's really cool is we can then see what our rare ones are here, because it lists right here how many there are of each. And so, for instance, if we're like, it looks like those weapons being gold or something to check out, we can kind of even just do some general shopping here. And so those would be our Spite Club. So there's 191 of those. So that's pretty rare. So you can also then kind of figure out what your numbers are. I like being able to see all of this right here.
Me too.
I think it's really, really helpful. And then with our hair, we can look and see, because she has the blue with the headphones, so 293.
Okay.
So, but her overall ranking is 7,924. So she's in, the bottom 3/4. But that can kind of also let you see by price as you're going through. So this one's been purchased and relisted. She purchased her for 0.49 and then relisted for 1 ETH.
Wow.
I always say she with these.
Yeah, well, yeah.
The person purchased it. And this is another one that's pretty unique, but her overall ranking is a little bit lower. So again, it really depends on if you want to purchase by aesthetic or you want to purchase by rarity, but some of the reason to look for rarity is that may have a higher value down the road.
Right.
Or something that's more sought after or unique.
Or if you're trying to decide between two, aesthetically speaking, you could go to Rarity to make that decision or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so this is the one that we actually had seen. Nope, this is very similar, because that's the other thing too, where you can be like, well, I really like that, but I hadn't really thought about that combination. So this has the pink knuckles and the same hair, and I think the same shirt that you had liked.
Oh, was it?
I think so. But I may be wrong.
I'm not sure.
But, these are going to be closer to the lower rarities, which is perfectly fine. But then, this one just kind of stands out because this is a 1,946 ranking.
Right.
And so, occasionally, and this looks like she does have the daggers.
Oh, yeah, the brass knuckle daggers, yeah.
And so then, too, you'll have this little pocket where these are higher ranking, but they're still in a comparable price to those that are a little bit less rare. But then there may be ones like this that's just really, really pretty.
Yeah.
That might connect with you.
Right. And
so you had mentioned that you liked those weapons. Were there other details that were important?
Aren't there some that have tattoos, right?
And so we can actually come over here to our descriptions here. I think those are actually listed under accessories, if I remember correctly. And let's look and see. We've got our different types of glasses.
Maybe it's under body.
So when there is a specific trait that you want to look for, but you may not know exactly what it's called in the collection, you can find one. Like she has the neck tattoos here.
Oh, yeah.
So you can go ahead and click on that one and then look over here as to what that's going to be.
So the Catherine body, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
And to double check that, we can actually click on that trait and then click again, and this is going to have all of them that should have that particular trait.
Oh, yep.
So we'll have lots of options.
And they don't have the tattoo.
They don't have the tattoo. Let's look and see here.
What's trait count?
This will be the number of traits that they have.
Oh.
And so this is the number. This is still the Catherine body, but then we can change. These are the ones that actually have 5 elements to them.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
5 traits that make up their variety. So in some collections, that's really unique. Like in WoW, in World of Women, the less traits they have, the more rare they are. So you'll see ones that have no hair, and they actually are more rare. Like that's a rare thing.
Right.
So those can be some of those sought after ones. But we'll continue to look at what we think that is. This one does have, because we have brass ones and we have silver ones, correct? These are the gold daggers.
Yes. Yeah.
And do you have a preference between that?
I mean, I really like the brass personally, but I like both. So.
So we can get back to that. And I don't think with a 5 count is necessarily
Yeah,
something that matters. So this would be the weapon. This was primarily your favorite weapon, correct?
I would say so, between these and the regular like brass knuckles, because I think there's pink regular brass knuckles, which I really liked.
Okay.
So yeah.
And then I know you like the bobbed hair.
Yes. Yep.
Or ones with bangs primarily.
Yeah.
Or a flower crown.
Yes.
So we have a flower crown here. And we can see that the floor goes from 0.5, and, we have just a few before it's up to 1/8.
I do really like her.
Oh, she is
with
cool.
the pink hair. She's cool.
She is really cool.
I like her tongue out. She's got the attitude,
She does. And I think that's a pretty unique color combination. And so we can then see that, out of her traits here, what makes her rare, with a teal argyle background, her pink bob, her body style. She does just have the 5, even though we didn't select that as an option. And then her polka dot tank.
Gotcha.
So
cool.
She is a cool one, and at $49.21, and her price is 0.58. When you pick one out, when you're starting to get one narrowed down that you like, you can always then double check and make sure she's available, because she's not that far off the floor price right now. And so the closer to the floor you are shopping. So for instance, this one is not still available.
Okay.
So that's the challenge with Rarity tools at times, is we can look down here, and this one actually sold 12 hours ago.
Okay.
So on days where there's lots of activity, they may be a little bit behind. So,
well, that makes sense.
And at that point, you can make an offer if you want to, or the price may be different if they listed it and then if they've purchased and relisted it. So let's come back here, though. We're going to go ahead and pick out a few things. Was there another trait that you wanted to search by?
Can you add multiple weapons where it'll show multiple types of weapons, or can you just choose one out of each category?
I think something that we might like to do is go ahead and we can look at our weapons here and search by them that are available. So we still have this one selected. So let's go ahead, and which ones would you like to look at?
Let's go for the pink brass knuckles.
Okay, and luckily these are in alphabetical order. Nice. So we have the pink brass knuckles, and this is gonna sort all of them by the pink brass knuckles.
Ooh. Oh man, these are priced low to high.
They are.
That's crazy.
So the floor now is 1/8 for the pink brass knuckles.
Which makes sense because they're really cool.
They are, and there's 308 of them available out of the full 10,000 collection.
Yeah, so, that's true.
When you look at it that way, you can kind of understand it a little bit better. And so that's also, when you're getting in early on a collection, one of the advantages of purchasing some of the rare traits is they will have that, they'll most likely have a higher floor price as the collection becomes more collected.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, these might be a little out of my price range, but they're beautiful.
And that's for now.
Yes.
That's for now.
Yes.
So, and is there another option for the weapons that you'd like to look at?
Yeah, let's look at, let's see. Let's look at just like the daggers.
Okay.
I think those are really cool.
That sounds good. So we'll have actually different color options. So we have the Bloom Silver. We can double check and see if this is the one that you like. This guy keeps, there we go. And this will be our low to high. So we'll scroll back up here to the top. So this is, again, these most likely are not still available. They're most likely old data.
Okay.
And so I would say, but we can double check them, but I would say that this is where we would start.
Okay.
So this one, of course, has the tongue out and the flowers.
Yeah,
that you
she's
like.
cute. Yeah.
So those are some options that, some different traits that you had mentioned. We've got some bobs along the way and some bangs.
I feel like there was like maybe long daggers.
Okay.
maybe what I'm thinking of.
Let's look and see. We'll cancel out of this. And a thing I'd like to do a lot is this one here.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we can actually go ahead and click on her, and her weapon is going to be the silver long daggers.
Okay, cool.
So then it's easy to be able to pick out what it is that you would like to search by here. And so there's 497 of those available, so they're not quite as rare as the last option. And we'll scroll up here. So it looks like our floor price, it's right at the floor, the 0.5. And so decent rarity. She's got a cute little pink bob. And then you can also see that, your options, if you are, this one is ranking 1,727 at 0.6. So she has the weapon of choice, but not necessarily the hair and the different items that so this one would be a little bit closer, probably.
Yeah, I like her, and I like the purple pigtails.
This one's cute.
Those are both pretty low rarity, though, is the thing. But I mean,
and again, it really depends on whether it's if you like the aesthetic. That's also important.
She caught my eye with the green hair, but she's 1E.
She is 1E,
but she's really cute.
Well, and there's different things that can kind of stand out along the way, like this one here. With her, this is with her Caroline body style. She just has a little bit different look than a lot of them do. So you can then see if there's something. She's about midway through the ranking, so you can then check and see if there's something extra special about her. I do like her sparkle braids.
Yeah, I think she's cool. Can we see if she's available?
Yeah, definitely. So she would be 0.69. And she actually has been purchased. And so her highest offer right now is 0.5. So we can see that 12 hours ago she was purchased.
Okay.
So an easy thing to do too is this is the tattoo that you like, isn't it?
Yeah. The sleeves and the
So while we're here, we might as well double check and see at her properties. So this will be an Opensea, but too, when you see one, then that's going to let you kind of narrow it down. And so her body type is her.
The clothes says red tattoo top, so maybe it's part of the clothes.
We can double check and see.
Yep,
it does look that way.
That is it. Interesting. Okay, cool.
And so it looks like for that particular one, I like the hatchets too.
Yeah, those are really
They're
cool.
They're pretty fierce.
Yeah, I actually like her a lot.
So some really pretty options. And so since we are now over on Opensea, these are ones that are available. So she would be at 0.689.
That's not bad.
And then you can always double check. So if if you find one you aesthetically like, obviously you can go ahead and purchase it. She's not very much, she's not significantly off the floor at this point.
Right.
But you can always go back in like we had done originally and check and see what her rarity ranking is if that's something that you want to check.
Yeah, let's do that. I actually really like her.
Okay. So she obviously is beautiful.
Yeah.
And has some of the cool traits and a unique look. So, then we can always, from shopping in Opensea, just like we did before, we could actually take her number 7167, go back over to Rarity Tools and add that in here.
Okay.
And see where she comes up. So she's 4621.
I mean, that's better than some of the other ones I was looking at. So I'm happy with that, actually.
Very good. Very good. Well, and there's one other thing that we can do. So another feature that's kind of helpful is to be able to see, to actually look by the ranking. So if we come here and we go ahead and add that in to our little sort here, and we wanted to see what like 4,600 and up is like, this is going to let us sort by the rarity number.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And so this is still low to high, but this is going to be from the rarest to the 4,600 rank and sort by pricing. And again, I think that some of these are probably a little bit outdated.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one.
So, because it looks like there's some that are probably not still available.
Right.
But if we come over here, and if this is the girl that you want.
Yeah, I love her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, of course, our next step would be to collect, well, usually the next step I do is I check gas.
Okay.
Because then you can do that one of two
right.
ways. But you can either you can have an app that you check where the where gas is at the moment, or you can also connect your wallet, and also when you're going through the transaction, of course, you'll be prompted and it'll let you know how much gas.
Tell
it
you
is.
how much. Okay.
But why don't we check here? I keep that pulled up on my phone most of the time. So let's see what our current is, and it looks like something must be minting because it is 410 GY, which is pretty nuts.
I don't think I've ever seen it that high. Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. So right now may not be our prime time.
Okay.
But there has been so much activity. Gas has just been insane the
Yeah.
last couple of days, and especially throughout the mid part of the day. So
Yeah.
one thing I've kind of learned is usually between 2 to 5 a.m. Central Standard Time can be a more reasonable time for
Okay.
gas. Of course, you always have to make that decision. If it's something that is just the one and you love it and the price is right,
Yeah.
then it's going to be worth making the purchase. If it's something, but it has, you have to kind of make the commitment when gas is uneven on the rise. It's increasing now. So
I mean, I've never purchased anything when gas was over like 180. So like, yeah. Oh my gosh, it just went up to 515. Wow.
So
that sucks.
So we'll go ahead and hold off. We know her number.
And we can favorite her, right?
We can. And so to do that, you would go ahead and click on this, and it's going to go through this. I'm sorry, this shows us who it is favorited by already, but we do have the option to go
right
ahead
up here.
and favor her. And I do this on my mobile so much, and it's going to prompt us to sign in.
Okay.
So would you like to do that?
Sure.
Okay. Very good. We'll do here.
Okay, so now I have her in my favorites.
Exactly.
Cool.
So we've got her marked, and you can always leave your window open as well.
Right.
But then we have a couple other we wanted to look at as well,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So I think we had Flower Girls picked out.
Yep.
And this is this is a unique collection just in the art itself, but also in some of the features that they have included in the collection. So it's an interesting one where we use Rarity tools, and for most collections, using Rarity tools is the option for finding out rarity. They actually did that a little bit differently with Flower Girls. So it's available here at Opensea.
Oh, cool.
So pretty
That's really
crazy.
awesome.
As far as it doesn't give us as many sort features as Rarity Tools does, because you have to kind of look at each one, but it does let you see what that option is. So we already have this one pulled up. We searched and we can tell that it's authentic because of the blue check mark, and it has the right items and all that. And their floor price is at 0.18. So that is has been steady, I think, all day today. And again, you can kind of look at the historical, and that definitely is the highest it's been historically since mint. So that's exciting for sure.
That is.
And this is always interesting too, to see if people are buying just off the floor, like if they're sweeping the floor, which means when you're sweeping the floor, you're buying everything at the bottom.
Right.
And then that's going to then increase that price. So you do see that at times. But, and so for the most part, that's been that way, but there have been a few over and a few over. So, and so anyway, we'll go back to our items here. And do you have some that you know for sure that you would be looking for?
So the main trait that I really like in the Flower Girls is it's going to be under hair.
Okay.
And it's called the Venus hairstyle.
Okay.
So they have just the regular Venus, but then they also have Fire Venus, which is like bright red, and Magenta Venus.
Okay.
So like I think checking all those boxes would be totally fine with me because I like all of the colors.
So we like Venus itself.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And then we have the Flaming Venus.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Magenta.
Okay, all right here, which it looks like Magenta Venus is the most rare.
Yes.
But actually, the Magenta and the Flaming are the same.
Okay.
And then the Venus is almost the same as well.
Okay.
So, but this will give us a good place to get started.
Cool. Yeah, isn't that hairstyle cool?
It is.
I love like the windswept.
Absolutely. These do, and the red always catches my eye as I'm going through the Flaming. But then the Magenta is really pretty. Do you have another something particular, or is aesthetic?
I think it's just like aesthetic, like even this one, like everything just seems like it aesthetically looks good. Like all the colors and everything. It's at 0.45, so a little above floor, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep, with floor being 0.18.
I like how it has two of the, I think they call them companions. So some of them only have one, right?
Yes. And so also, I think this would be more unusual that it has a bird and an insect.
Okay.
And
That's
I've
cool.
heard it both ways, that the insect, that it's going to be more important for the cross-pollination to have an insect
Okay.
than a bird. But when I
Interesting.
listened the other night, that didn't seem to maybe be a definite thing, that they have different roles in the process.
Okay.
So, but I do think it is more unusual to see both of them here.
So what I like about her is like it's kind of like her hair stands out, but the rest of it's kind of like monochromatic, or is that what you would call it? Like the background's kind of blue, her lips are blue, her flower's blue. So I really like that.
And even the colors in the companions kind of match.
Yeah.
And so we can go ahead and look at her properties. And so we already know that we already know what hairstyle we have, because that's what we're searching by. And then we can see some of the other traits and see, you know, how unusual they are. And then they go ahead and include here with the stats. And so her rank, with number 1 being the rarest, is 5,728.
Cool. Okay. That's awesome.
So she is like,
I love that they include that.
Yes, it's definitely been unusual, but so the good thing is that you can definitely, when you're looking at one, you can see it. The thing that I like about Rarity tools is you can search by the number and easily find the rarity instead of looking at each one. But it is nice that they go ahead and offer that.
Yeah. I actually really love that she has a blue peony. Peonies are one of my favorite flowers, so that's pretty cool.
Well, we could go ahead and go a little bit deeper into that as well. So if you really like the flower itself, then you can then click on that one. And then, of course, this is going to show us with all of the flowers.
Right.
But if we want to go ahead and do the hairstyle, you know, if you know what hairstyle you like in that flower, we can search by those as well.
Right. Let's go back to just like at the top.
Okay.
Of this page, because there may have been one that I liked.
Okay.
I do like this one.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
Because it's kind of that same monochromatic type thing, like red hair, pink background, pink flower.
I like
so
her
that's
a lot.
really cool.
I like the contrast with her collar there. And she too has a bird and an insect and a butterfly.
She does, yes. Oh, I love the
she's
butterflies, especially.
That one is really, yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
And she, again,
Nice.
has the standout features, but then the colors are still muted behind that. So we can look at her properties here. So she does have a different flower, of course. And then her insect here would be her butterfly, the bird at 5%. And so her flower does look like it's more rare
Yeah,
than
and
the other one we looked at.
the hibiscus is also kind of special because that is my Nana's favorite flower.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's cool too.
It really seems like with this collection in particular, there is that sentimental connection.
Yeah, totally.
Because you hear that a lot more where there's, you know, something that is significant to that person or a family member. So
What was the rarity on this one?
we will look and see. We have not checked yet.
Okay.
So we'll click here on the stats, and this one's 7,168.
Okay.
So it's not as rare necessarily. However, it is really, really pretty. So
Right, and do you think that that's why maybe the price is a little lower because it's less rare?
I would assume so.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Gotcha.
would assume that would be fair to determine that was related.
Okay.
And so overall, you know, it also depends on what exactly it is that, you know, that a reason for people to list it. But we can see, too, that when we look at the pricing, this person sold it for 0.13, and now it's listed at the 0.29.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
Well, okay, I'm kind of trying to decide between this one and that other one.
okay. And we can also see if there's one that catches your eye.
Okay.
That one has some cool.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
There's
That's
a
a
lot
cool
going
flower.
on.
I think that's really cool.
And I think that you don't like the blue as much.
Well, I like the blue skin if it's with blue hair, but it looks, I don't love it with the warm colored hair, if that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah.
And as we scroll down, we can see price-wise what is similar. And then we get into some bigger flowers. And of course, the price does go up. But we can also look and see if it is between those two.
Would you mind adding, actually, for the hair? I remembered I also liked, there's like an indigo bob, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
And that one, I remember really liking it with the blue skin.
Okay. We can do that.
Just so I'm covering all my bases.
Absolutely. When you're making those decisions, the indigo shortwaves probably.
Yes.
And it is more rare than the Venus hairstyle.
Okay.
But it is really cute.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And so this adds a few options in pricing wise. And did you like her with the blue?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I actually, a couple weeks ago, almost bought one that had blue background, blue skin, and the blue, like, indigo waves. I almost bought her, but then she got bought before I could get her. So, but that one's cool with all the different flowers.
And it has a different bird there, too. I like her dress, too. So this one's at 0.4.
Okay.
And yes, she does have a really cool look to her. We can look at our properties here and just see where we're at.
Ah, so her flower is like a bouquet. That's cool.
And so it looks like both her flower and her necklace are more rare traits. And so then she is a 3,344.
Gotcha.
So her ranking is a little bit higher for sure.
Okay.
So she is really pretty, and that probably is associated with the 0.4 price.
Right. Okay, cool.
And she does stand out a lot. She has a very unique look.
Yeah. I really think, though, like, comparing them now, I think I'm, like, dead set on that Venus hairstyle.
Okay.
I really like it. So, yeah, I'm still trying to decide between those two that I had. So this was the one. And then I think the other one was a little bit down, like, on the right.
Okay.
I saw it.
And we've did you just see it?
Her.
Okay. Very good.
So, yeah. Would you mind favoriting both of those for me?
Sure. And we could actually have done it from the other screen, but we'll do it right here.
Okay.
And then we'll also go back to the other, and we'll check our gas as well.
Yeah, please do, because it can change really fast, right?
It can, yes. If a project is finishing up, then it can definitely change.
Okay, so if I was like actually going to buy this, I could click buy now. And then you got to check the box.
Yep. And then you go to confirm, and then this is going to let us see. We'll get our wallet connected, and...
Okay, so the gas, it's saying the gas would be almost $400.
That's still pretty high.
That's still pretty high. Because, yeah, that brings my total up quite a bit. So,
it does, yes.
I probably will just reject that. And hopefully it'll still be available later when gas is a little less, because I do really like her a lot. I kind of feel like I'm leaning more towards her than even the other one. So.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah. So, we'll see.
She's really pretty. I think it's her hair that just gets it.
Yeah,
for me,
me too. Yeah.
Good choice. Good
Nice.
choice. And then also, as things work in this world, things do move quickly. So now you know how to search for that particular hair. So if you do miss out on her, which that's always the gamble we have here, the uncertainty is, and that's part of the collecting. But I think that's probably a wise decision on the gas side of things. So, but now you'll know how to actually go and look at these and check the rarity. So it lets you kind of spend some time. It's amazing how much time you can spend going through and looking at different items here.
Totally.
And so this will be similar. So Rebel Society, like they finished minting out this morning, which is pretty exciting. And it's been really fun watching the sales today. So this is a project that started their mint in late October, and it was originally 0.08 to mint. They changed the price in late December to 0.02 and started getting some traction. And with all the lady projects taking off, they have done really great and have sold out. And so definitely a different aesthetic than the last project we were looking at.
So different.
But definitely fun art. This has actually come down a little bit from where their floor price was earlier today, which is exciting for them. So we can kind of look here. I always check in on the activity. It looks like the price is up a little bit more than it has been, we do know that for sure. And it looks like activity might be slowing down just a little bit because the last one sold for just under what the current floor price is.
Okay.
So there is some opportunity there, but then people are also wanting to buy into traits, so they're spending a little bit more. So just some information, like it looks like the price had dropped just a little bit here. So, give some opportunity and just some good information to have. And then we can also look at traits. This is a new enough project as far as minting. People will be working on selling one that they minted or picked up along the way to, because that's what their goal was. And others are going to be spending this early time purchasing ones that they may want to have for long term, or ones that have certain traits that they really like.
Yes.
So, definitely lots of options. And so we can go over and look at traits. This one won't be available on a Rarity tool yet because it is so freshly minted.
Right.
And so being fully minted is one of the requirements to be on Rarity tools.
Okay.
And then they go through a verification process. So it does take usually a couple days to a week after a project mints if they're going to be on Rarity tools.
Okay.
So this is so fresh. This is we can use similar sorting as to what we were on Flower Girls. Is there a particular traits that you like about them?
So I think I'm going back to the hair again. I think that's kind of what I lead with a lot of times. So the hair that I really liked which they have a ton of different hair options.
They do.
Is the festival space buns. Festival buns, baby blue. Yeah, so that one, I like the baby blue.
Okay.
I like the pink.
Okay.
So...
And those, I think, are a little more common. Here we go. We've got red and blonde and then baby blue. But you wanted the pink,
there's
right?
There's pink, and then there's one with the blue and pink.
Okay. And we have festival and space, huh?
Yeah, so it's the festival.
Okay. We'll keep going.
There's the blue pink.
Okay.
So that one's a little more rare.
There's only 70 of those. And we do have ginger as well.
Yeah, let's choose that one too, because I have kind of a... Oh, that's the supermodel ginger.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
That one is one up. There we go. And purple. Lots and lots and lots of options.
Yes.
There we go.
There she is. Okay.
So this should give us all of our hair options that we like. Was there another trait that you liked?
Yeah, I like the tattoos, which I think is under skin.
We're seeing a theme, aren't we?
Yeah. Those are...
We have bronze tattoos. We have light tattoos, olive tattoos.
You could just click all those.
Okay.
I think.
We will be open-minded there.
Yes.
I missed the light ones. Yep. So we can see that this is going to give us an option to really drill down and pick out some things that we really like and have some options within the category that we want. So we've got blue ones. This may be the most options out of any project for tattoos.
Yeah, I like it. Green tattoos. What?
And I think we mentioned in our last, but it does make sense that this would have a lot of artistic options because that's one of the missions of the community and the project to support small artists and up-and-coming artists. Yep. So really cool to see when those aspects go ahead and filter through. So I think we've got all of our hair options and our tattoo options.
Yes.
Is there any other trait that you want to sort through at the moment or see what we've got to work with?
Let's just kind of see what we got. Ooh, I like her in the middle with the checkered background. She's really cool.
She is cool. So we can see that she's got her face tattoo. She's got her boss necklace on.
Nice.
background. And so at this point, it is a little, when you look at your properties, you're kind of just going by the percentages. And so it does look like we know with her pink buns, when we'll know how many have that particular one by looking at the numbers, but also on the percentage base. So checked mint would be a very rare background, and the festival buns as well.
Cool.
And so, and still the other ones are not overly common by any means. And then she's at 0.15.
Okay.
And so the floor is 0.04. So some of her traits probably do lend to that.
Right.
But it also might be that the person just also really likes her.
Yeah.
So it looks like this one was purchased 11 hours ago and was originally listed for 0.058 and brought the price down, and now then it got purchased and they listed it for higher.
Okay.
So as a project is selling, you are going to have that time where people are purchasing them and listing them for higher. And so that's something, just to consider as you're making that decision on your purchase. But we can look and see for those traits if there's another one that you also connect with or like.
Okay. Let's see.
That one has the mascara that I know that you like.
Yes. Yeah. My one that I minted has that. Pretty cool. So these without prices on them means they're not available?
They're not listed.
Okay.
So at that point, it would mean making an offer if there was something that you just loved.
Okay. What about adding a couple different hairstyles than what we have so far?
Sure. And that will broaden our search.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think it's called a bob.
Okay.
It has you scrolled past. There's a bob pink right there at the top.
Okay, very good.
So that has
129.
Yeah, and so they have that in a few different colors. I think the bob
sounds good. We've got a baby blue, and let's see what we've got here. We've got the blonde one and the white one. I really like the white one.
Yes, me too. I used to have like white hair. I kind of miss that.
Can always go back, huh?
That's true. If all my hair doesn't fall out first. that's
the downside.
That's why I had to quit doing the blonde, because my hair was like, stop.
Well, now you can have a PFP to represent that.
Exactly.
Huh? And then so in the red bob is the most rare of all the hair options.
Okay.
So this does open it up for us.
Yep.
And this one isn't too far off the floor. But our price does go ahead and raise a little bit. But it looks like those do give us some options there with the tattoos and the bob.
Yep.
So 0.7. I'm always partial to the bubble gum. I like the hard glasses a lot,
I actually love this one. I mean, she's smoking, which I'm not a smoker, but she's really cool looking.
It definitely fits with the rebel vibe.
Yeah, totally.
Not your babe. Yeah, she's kind of a badass.
Yeah, she's really cool.
And so, one way to look at a project, which I don't know if it's even relevant, is that she would be under the original mint price. So that is one of those things.
That's true.
Just
very true.
Information there, but we can look and see. And the person that has it available, it looks like they did mint it.
Okay.
But we can go ahead and look at our properties here. And with the background, there's only 1% that have that.
Yeah, that's a cool background. I like that a lot.
It is a cool
That's kind of what caught my eye, actually.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
So also if if that's something that you like and you want to look at other options, you can always select this property to be able to look at them a little bit more.
Okay, cool.
But of course, unlike the Flower Girls, it doesn't give us any more information about that particular one.
Okay.
And also, of course, as they become more popular, those traits that you like might become harder to get.
Very true.
But it also can work the other direction, too. You never know when there's one that might come available.
Yep.
I think this has been a pretty sought after trait as well.
The flipping
kind of
off.
Signature look for sure.
Yep.
Lots of pizzas. I like the starry background, too.
Yeah.
And I love the jungle theme.
The lollipop is cool, too. I like that.
I agree. And an interesting thing, this one reminds me a lot of 0.14 to this one up here that has very similar traits, I believe, or maybe that is the same one. She's just resorted.
Right.
I like her a lot, too.
Yeah, she's cool, too.
Pretty similar there. but I do think she would be, I would assume she's more rare because her hair color is the different. So then too, if there's two that are very similar, you can also look there at their traits to kind of get an idea.
Okay.
So this one has a little slightly more rare background, but and then her clothes are more rare.
Oh, okay.
So that would give her possibly a little bit higher edge, but probably not a ton, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. They're pretty similar.
Yeah. So there are definitely a lot of options.
Yeah.
We've done a great job of adding a lot of our important features. So as we can tell, that does give us a lot of options to really narrow it down. But is there one that you think that you really like?
Actually, I just noticed this one right here.
And this one may have just come up.
She's super simple, but I actually really like her. And she's not horribly expensive. So... yeah, I mean, I like her. Yeah, I like all of it. The blue, everything, the blue lips. Well, they're kind of green, but I like it. I like her a lot, actually.
See, we've got, and these all are, they look like they're pretty good traits with their green tongue. That's even more unusual. So that's like her unique thing. Cool. And so, we can definitely check and see if this is the right one.
Okay, yeah. I'm assuming the gas is probably still a little too high. We will look and
see if anything has changed, but, well, it has come down slightly, but we're still at 288. So we would be looking at more in gas to mint her than she costs.
Than she actually costs, right. Yeah. Well, this kind of has been unfortunate because I was fully prepared to, like, buy me some...
I know. I was actually planning to buy a Rebel Society today, too, because I haven't yet, and I've been watching them all day. But I definitely have learned a little bit more about the available traits and what I would be looking for. So it could be unfortunate, but it also is very real in the NFT space that we are gas until there's a solution for gas. It's kind of...
So I found some that I really like, and I'm definitely going to, like, keep checking back. And, I favorited all of these. I don't think I favorited this one yet, but I'll favorite this one. So I have them all in my favorites so I can go back and check. And, hopefully gas will go down so I can get some of these cute girls, add them to my wallet. So, yeah.
So we hope that you found this information helpful. Our goal at MetaJungle is to provide free tools and resources to help you navigate the space better. And as projects mint and we're getting into them at a different time, this is going to be more and more relevant. So hopefully this helped you make some good, smart decisions.
Yep. It definitely has helped me. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. And we hope you guys join us in MetaJungle Discord. If you have any questions even related to this, please ask. We're here to help, and we definitely will look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.